Welcome to another Whiskey Games and Nerd Stuff. Today's whiskey is Nikka Days, and today's nerd stuff is going to be a playthrough of Flip and Forecast. I have not had an opportunity to try this one that I can recall, so let's go ahead and try it. Got a good smell to it. Get a pear of peaches. Okay, yeah, this could be a good entry Japanese whiskey. Normally, I would recommend Suntory, but I like this. I think it would definitely, with some ice, we'll definitely open this up. Let's go ahead and take another sip. All right, and let's go ahead and start the game. All right, so this is a really easy game to set up. It's an easy, nice family game, and it does say age of 6+, which is definitely something you could do. So let's go ahead and read through the gameplay. Shuffle and deal all the cards evenly to each player, forming everyone's draw pile. So I went ahead and shuffled out 3 players, pretending we're going to do 3 players. Number 2, everyone flips over the top card on their draw pile, forming their own point pile. So everybody will flip over that first card. 3, start with the player to the left of the dealer and take turns clockwise. 4, on your turn, select any point pile, including yours, and vocally predict higher or lower. Take the top card from your draw pile and flip it onto the selected pile. If your guess is correct, the card stays. If it's wrong, place it on your point pile. Keep predicting and targeting any of the piles until you guess incorrectly. Then it's the next player's turn. So when we did number 10, when we got to number 6, we just did everybody took 1 turn. So let's go ahead and take a sip. So how we played it was, and I will start here. So I would see the 17, and I'm going to say, I believe this card is going to be lower than 17. And it's lower than 17, so it would stay here. The next person would take their turn and go, flip over this card and say, I think this card is lower than 12. If it was lower than 12, it would go there. The next player would then go and say, I think this card is going to be lower than 11. It wasn't, so they're wrong. Now, in this particular case, they're wrong and it would still stick on their pile. This wouldn't be into effect because they're not right. So then it would go to the next player. I think this is lower than a 13. It's lower than a 13, so it would stay there. They would say, I think this is going to be lower than 11. It is, so it would stay there. This person would say, hey, I think this is going to be lower than a 10. It is, so that would stay there. You go around and around, and then what happens is when you're correct and you get one of these cards right here, it'll have these weather effects on here. So this one says Cyclone. So what'll happen is Cyclone is copycat power. Use it in any other power card if your prediction with this card was correct. So you have multiple power cards: Freeze, Cloud Break, Whirlwind, Clear Skies, Temperature Range, Hunker Down, Water Cycle, Trade Winds, Cyclone, Tornado, and Eye of the Storm. So what ends up happening is you want to go through to where all your cards are gone, guessing, and at the end of the day, you're trying to get the lowest score. Well, if you'll notice, each card has a point value here. Some of them are negative points, some of them are positive points. Well, what'll happen is when you get through all the cards, you're going to add up these scores in this point value. Whoever gets the lowest score wins. And there's some cool cards in here. Most of these, as you can see, there's some -2s, 1s, 2s. There is a -5 in here, and there's a -10. So obviously you want to try to get the -10 into your pile so you'll have the lowest score, but you have to be careful because there are certain cards in here that you can steal cards. So for example, the -10 is the Eye of the Storm card. Hold on tight. This card has no power, but be aware everyone will try and steal this card. Well, what's nice is then you'll have in here, like for example, Trade Winds. Swap more points. Exchange the top 3 cards from your point pile with the top 3 cards from anyone else's point pile. And then, of course, they have things that you can go ahead and steal each other's cards. So let's go ahead and take another drink. And again, this is a very, very simple game. This player can go and go, hey, I think my card's going to be lower than a 20. It's lower than a 20, it goes there. Next player says, hey, I think this card's going to be higher than a 1. It's higher than a 1. This player is going to say, I think this is going to be higher than this 2. It is higher than that 2, and so on and so on. It is a basic, simple game. It's something that, anybody can pick up and play. It was relatively cheap. I think it was like $10 if I remember correctly. So there's not a whole lot to this game, but for a family game that you can just pick up and play, this wasn't too bad. Something I would recommend. Do really appreciate the Nikka Days. Not going to drag out this play video because there's really not a lot to this. It's just a really basic, simple game. If you've played this game, would love to hear your thoughts on it in comments and what you liked, did not like about the game. And if you have some recommendations for other games that are similar, where it's good, clean family games that are nice, easy to play, I would love to hear those. Would also like to hear your thoughts on if you've tried this Nikka Days. Again, it's not going to be like a Hibiki or a higher end Japanese whiskey, but this was a really good, what I thought was a good basic Japanese entry whiskey. And you can see how quickly you can put this game back. So this was Flip and Forecast from One More Round Games. And speaking of one more round, let's just go ahead and have another drink of this. Like I said, not bad. I think this one would be much better with a little bit of ice on it, though. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Please like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And appreciate you watching just a basic, quick playthrough. Again, 2 to 8 players, ages 6 and plus. You can see it's a quick game. And until next time, everybody, cheers.